Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rosefellow's podcast. Along with me today is my co-host, partner in crime, best friend, Sam Tsoumas. Sam, thank you for once again having the honors of being here next to me.
Oh, thank you.
And obviously, we like to invite special guests on our podcast, and we're humbled, thankful, grateful to have a legend with us today. Someone that I've admired from the other side of the fence as a competitor for many years, but someone who really had an impact in real estate, but Montreal real estate specifically, Roger Plamondon. Roger, thank you for being with us tonight.
My pleasure.
I look at my career in real estate and it feels like I just started yesterday. It's been 20 years. Same like you. And then I look back at, I was reading some of the articles that were written about you, and I see 50 years in business, in different types of businesses and in real estate. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it's been a great run. Started serving toast and coffee at the Canadian National Railway Property Tax Department, and then ended my career a year ago when I retired from heading the Brocklini Real Estate Group. So, and in between, it's been just a roller coaster ride. I promised my wife when we were early on in our married life that if she stuck around for all the time, she'd be in for one hell of a roller coaster run. But I promised her that the slope at the end would be a positive slope. I'd like to believe that that worked out very well. It's just especially worked out very well for me because she did stick around, and it's been fun. So it's been real estate, it's been operations, construction thrown into there, some politics, some teaching. So it's been fun. It's been a fun run.
That's incredible. We'll get into the nitty gritty, but at a high level, looking at 50 years of experience, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about getting into real estate?
I think I'd quote Charlie Munger, Hathaway's, what's his name? Berkshire, thank you. Berkshire. And his quote has always been the one that's always hit me. He says, reputation and integrity are the two most valuable assets you have, but you can lose them in a heartbeat. So throughout a career, if you stay true to yourself and you stay true to your values, you should be okay. I've seen people wander off and then it catches you up. I mean, this is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. It's a long-term game. So you don't come in for a quick hit. You stay there, you write it out, and what will follow you is what you are. So be true to yourself.
So, since Rosefellow has started, I've actually mentioned quite a few times on these podcasts a mentor. So I'm actually very honored to have you here because you're actually the mentor. We worked together for a little over a decade, and I remember you telling me a story. I believe it was a time when you were at CN, when you started, and then every new employee would get this. And I always thought this was a hilarious story, something in the dungeons. I'd love for you to actually say it.
Well, we used to try to break the characters. So for those people that are familiar with Central Station in Montreal, it has multiple levels. The lowest level is where all the pipes in the underground pass. So we would send a new junior person down to do the inspection of Central Station. That person would go, I'm going down to inspect Central Station. But we'd send them down to the lower level where the rats are. So you'd have to come in with a massive pipe wrench, a hat, and you'd hit the pipes with the pipe wrench, and you could hear the rats scurrying around, walking around. People would come back white. And we told them, well, welcome now to your real estate. It's not just glamour. There's a side of it that's not glamour. But it was fun. I mean, all of that to say, if you're gonna succeed, you gotta have fun while you're working. You gotta have fun because otherwise, life is too short. So I've been blessed. I've met great people along the way. I've made great friends along the way. Probably some people that don't view me as a great friend, but that's okay. That comes with the territory too. But so it's been fun.
You started your career in real estate quite unexpectedly after studying political science. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what attracted you to get into that field?
Well, actually, part of it was by accident because I just happened to file an application to work at CN, and they directed me to this property tax department. And so in the property tax department, that was the department that had the responsibility to contest all the real estate appraisals from the property tax point of view for all the network of Canadian National Railways. And so I got to see different markets, different conditions, and I kept asking all these questions. What is this zoning, and what is this, and why is this piece of land more than this piece of land? Because just out of curiosity. And the more I asked questions, the more the answers I was getting back, the more I said, this could be fun. So then Université du Québec at Montreal opened up a BCom project, a program, but with a specialization in real estate appraisal, actually. So I said, so I'll sign up for that. It brought me to 11 years of night school. So because then I finished because I had to finish my CEGEP. I had to then do my bachelor's. So I was running school 5 nights a week, 4 nights a week, finishing my CEGEP, and 1 night a week doing my bachelor's. And then to finish it off, when I finished my BCom, I said, might as well do my MBA. So I jumped in and did the MBA. So I did 11 years all in one shot.
Were you were you married at the time?
Oh, yeah, I was married.
How did you balance that?
With Rita's great help. No, seriously, that 90% of the credit all goes to Rita. My contribution was taking care of Bridget, our daughter, Thursday nights when Rita had to work, so I had to schedule things around Thursday nights so I could spend time with our daughter. I mean, on the weekends I'd be doing case studies and studying. I mean, I've been blessed with a great memory, so it helped. But I still had to do some work, and Rita was there all the time. She supported all the way through, so it was tough because it's a tough period of time. When I look back at it, there's certain parts of Bridget's life that I missed because I was at school and as she was growing. But at the end, I deemed it necessary to have all those tools in my toolbox. It's what permitted me to aspire to different jobs, to be able to do different things, to learn how to do different things, see the great advantages of having a good network. Because at school, I developed a network of people that were in different businesses and stuff. And so that served me throughout my career afterwards because the whole networking is very important. So, but it was tough. It was a tough period.
What I admire is that here you are at the announcing you've retired from real estate, but the passion, the love, the kind of that friendship you have with your wife is amazing. Like these posts you put out, how you're traveling the world.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what's impressive because many people, what you see happen is that they hit this crossroads, and as they evolve and they change in their careers and stature of life, their relationships kind of sour. It seems like it's gone a different direction for you, where you guys are even closer and you spend, valuable time and you appreciate that time together.
I could say this. So when Roger and I worked together, he always had this motto that it would be like he would go on one trip a month, I remember, and at least 4 or 5 days. Roger rarely, from what I could tell, does these 1 or 2 week vacations. He likes short hits, and it's a lot of fun. And actually, it's something that you and I have started doing over the last couple of years, and it cuts everything, and it makes the relationship stronger, and it clears the mind.
Is that something you'd suggest for those listening? Like what do you do to have that
the balance?
Chemistry.
The chemistry. Again, I was blessed. Rita and I went to our high school prom together. So I've
seen pictures. He's blessed that she even liked him.
I've always said she definitely needed a night check. Listen, technology today helps a lot because you can be somewhere else and still have a 1 hour call or whatever. So Rita and I had established ground rules a long time ago. Wake up in the morning, I can go through all my emails, look at all my emails, do all sorts of stuff. That's fine. While we're having breakfast, that's all cool. Then after that, shut the phone, spend some time. Lunch, just open it up, check to see very quickly, like quick look, but close. And then at night before supper, while makeup, hair, wash, shower, stuff, then get back, do the stuff. And in between, try to break. And so it worked out. We sort of worked out that formula that balanced out, and it's permitted us both to be able to enjoy time together. But you're absolutely right. Since the retirement, it's now been like, let's have a blast. I mean, we're blessed to still have good health. We can do stuff that we've wanted to do, so why not do it now? So we've done some pretty whacked out stuff. Today, for those that are viewing, is the day after Halloween, but tonight is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So you will see me fully decked in makeup and everything. So yeah, life is too short. You have to have fun.
Absolutely.
Agreed. So from my experience with you, I know you've had some stints at some incredible companies. tell us a little bit about each. I know some of these stories, but I'd love to hear one story from each.
And the list of these companies is incredible.
Some aspire to be aspire to be working at one of these companies at the positions that you've held.
For those of you that remember, there was Steinberg's, and now Renault Depot, Costco, Home Depot. These are incredible companies. To your point, Sam, a lot of people wish to work at one. You had the opportunity to see how everyone ticks.
Yeah, and everyone actually brought something to the equation that put together what you're seeing here today. I started the career, as you had mentioned before, Canadian National Railways. Canadian National Railways proved to be a great place because it permitted me, among other things, to do my 11 years at night school. There was last semester paid full salary by CN because I managed to get on this program and stuff. And so, quick story in each one. So at CN, a while back, there was an accident in the St. Lawrence Seaway where a ship hit one of the bridges at St. Louis de Gonzague near Valleyfield. And that bridge, Hydro-Quebec had the responsibility to rebuild the bridge because it was built to permit the dam in Beauharnois and stuff like that. So I had gone to see the vice president at the time, and I told him, I said, well, why rebuild the bridge? We don't need the bridge. The trains can go some other route and stuff. So he looked at me and yeah, kid. And I said, no. I said, here. I said, I'll prove it. So I made the study, showed. So anyways, we ended up, long story short, abandoning 13 miles of railroad tracks because the trains could bifurcate. And then I sold, quotes and unquotes, relieved Hydro-Quebec from its obligation to rebuild the bridge on a dollar check. And I remember the vice president saying, you'll never get that. And I said, I love it when you tell me I cannot do it. So I said, okay, I'll make a deal with you. I said, I get it. I said, I want to have a ride in the president's car because at the time, CN, you have this train that is like the president's car. So you come in, it's the server with the car, and crystal and everything. So we took the train, because we did sell it at the price. We took the train out of Central Station, went all the way up to Drummondville and came back.
Wow.
So I had my meal with the president and the vice president heating.
How old were you?
I was 86, so about 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
I guess, 19, 20 years old. Yeah, so that was fun. And then from there, I left because I had done my time there, and I went to Steinberg's, you were talking about. Steinberg's at the time was the top Canadian food retailer. And I always used to say it was a food company that did food on the side, because it really was a real estate company that did food on the side.
From what I could tell, almost every major real estate company today is somehow derived from Steinberg's.
Yeah, Ivanhoe was Steinberg's real estate arm. So when La Caisse de dépôt sold. So anyways, so this was a great school. We used to call it Steinberg University, because there you learn the importance of reading your documents and read your documents. And Sam is looking at me and smiling because to this day,
drilled for this all the
read
time.
your document. It's amazing the number of people that don't read and don't understand their document. Give it to a lawyer and figure it's okay. Well, last time I turned around, with respect to all lawyers that may be listening, and no lawyer is perfect. So they're all human beings, so read the document. It is your deal, read it. So we got to do that. I got to participate in the sale of Steinberg's and the assets of Steinberg. So company 75 years in existence. But what you saw was a company that actually, for reasons that were non-related to the business, folded. So just a lesson there was that no company is invulnerable. Things can happen over time, and it can happen very quickly. So left Steinberg, was very cocky, and so I said,
"You?"
Yes, me. And so a friend of mine has a ladies' wear company, and he's losing money, and he says, "Can you do something with that?" And I go, "Sure, real estate, ladies' wear, same thing." Yeah, of course. So off I went to this ladies' wear company. And there, the takeaway was, my days would start with the bank calling, how many checks did you cash last night? What were your sales? Where are you on your business? Where are you on your business plan and stuff? And then I developed there the reflex that every action on the top line has a reaction on the bottom line. So make sure that when you're thinking of something, well, what's going to be the option on my bottom line? And then if you put together a plan and you're sitting there, well, under promise, over deliver. So make sure that you stick to your plan. You can explain transparency and stuff. So I did that for about a year. Rita was super happy because she got the most amazing wardrobe. And then I said, okay, this is fun, but I'm really like a fish out of an aquarium. So applied at the time to go to Renault Depot. So Renault Depot was really a knockoff of Home Depot. And Pierre Michaud at the time, the chair, never hid the fact that he had been inspired by the Home Depot store in Florida that was across from his condo. And he said, I got to build that. So I actually walked physically the latest Home Depot store at the time in Springfield, Massachusetts, and measured the store. I would have a measurement wheel on my cart, and I would go up and down the aisles.
And it's a common story. You hear, if any of you have read the book of Sam Walton and his story of how he founded Walmart, that's exactly what he did. He spent his family trips going through every other store out there to get ideas, and it's similar to this. And some of the best ideas are not stolen; they're borrowed.
Yeah, they're borrowed. Well, I mean, there's no good idea that's not worth copying. So let's copy the ideas.
Take a little bit of that.
So take a bit of that, adapt it. So he adapted it to Quebec, and Renault became the success story that it became. It sort of saddened because recently they announced the removal of that banner, and now I've integrated it to Rona Plus. But it was an interesting time because the market was at a standstill from a real estate point of view. It was one of those lulls in the real estate market. But I had the concept that everybody wanted because I was in full expansion. This was a full expansion mode. So I was building these, and I was in charge of construction and real estate back then. So I was building these 128,000 square foot stores that people were looking, wow, what is this and stuff. But with all sorts of challenges because I had to shut down an existing banner at the same time, competing banners. And I had some really great files in that one. When we opened the Brossard Renault Depot store, believe it or not, we had traffic backlog on Champlain Bridge. So for those that know the South Shore, the store's on Taschereau.
That's the one on Place Portobello?
Place Portobello,
There's
correct.
an interesting servitude on that one that I remember you telling me about.
There's a few servitudes. When we did that deal, the property was split into 2 ownership groups, 6 different mortgages, 3 of which were in default. And I had a store with a lease that I had to close down, and it was one of the money earners of one of the units. So that was fun. I remember...
was it challenging? Sorry to cut you off, Roger. Was it challenging to present this new concept to landlords and say, I want to put up 100 or 120,000 retail? Did they not look and say, well, what are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Not only that, I don't want to own the property. I want to lease it. So, oh, yeah, really? And so what's the guarantees behind? Well... yeah, there they are.
Hello.
So, but yeah, it was. But at the same time, like I said, there was a lull in the marketplace, so we benefited from that, and benefited from the fact that Home Depot was successful, that there was a track record on the predecessor of Home Depot, so of Renault, so that it permitted us to walk around it, and we found distressed owners that wanted this is better than not having anything. And then it became a success because once we opened the first store, then it was a massive success. Then everybody wanted one. And then it just grew on itself. And so that was fun.
What were rents back then? Were they percentage? No
percentage rent. The fixed rent for 20 years and 4 or 5 year options minus 5 days so that you couldn't get nailed on capital gains. And the options, some of them optioned at market and some of them very, very low. And you wouldn't want to think, you wouldn't think that you could make the project work with the rents that we were paying. But yeah, it was fun, yeah. And very complicated deals. Left Renault Depot. I actually started my own brokerage firm. So I was the head broker for North.
Listen to this, you'll never believe the name. I know it, and I didn't believe it when I heard it.
Yeah, because I was the Quebec partner to Northwest Atlantic Partners. So I had the brokerage license for the Quebec office of Northwest Atlantic Partners. Northwest had the exclusive mandate to do costos, and so they were expanding in Quebec, needed somebody with Quebec-based knowledge, so I became the broker. So we had a blast there because some of the second generation. Because when I was at Steinberg's, I had the Price Club portfolio, the predecessor to Costco. So then started working on the Costco part of it after with Northwest. So and did the first, I forget, 6 or 7, I think, Future Shop deals, which are now Best Buy. And all of that ran very, very well until a certain political event called a referendum popped up, which brought me back full circle to, because I studied political science originally. And it always, politics and real estate is always in the background. Zoning, regulations, laws, taxation, whatever. And this brought it back forefront. So it was like a full circle. So then I joined Costco as an employee. With the person that I consider to this day, and will consider probably to the day I die, as being the most incredible boss in the world, Louise Wendling. She was the head of Costco for Canada, and demanding woman. I mean, sharp like hell, but demanding. But while being very demanding, the most human person I met. So she could rip you one Monday mornings, I mean, tear you apart to pieces and stuff. But something happened with your family and stuff, and she was like, family first, and so...
That's an incredible talent to have.
Yeah.
We have someone like that in our office, Frank, he who runs our construction division. And he's so tough, but 5-6 o'clock comes around, and he'll look at one of the director of construction that he just nailed all day over some mistake he made, and if I go, like, let's go for a beer.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go talk. How's the family?
Same with me and him. Me and Frank, because I think we have similar characters, are always butting heads, but we love each other.
But from what I learned from her was, in the moment, be firm, be slow, and then after that, it's finished. Pass on to something else. I mean, you're not gonna don't hold a grudge. You're not gonna, it's finished. So she was the most amazing person. So that was Costco, and then from there, first attempt at retiring, and
30 years ago.
quickly followed by Rita strongly suggesting that I should go back to work, get out of the house, and go back to work. And then I used to chair the Retail Council in Quebec at the time, and sat on the Retail Council of Canada as one of the directors. And on that board, you had all the presidents of Walmart Canada, Home Depot Canada, Costco Canada, and stuff. And that's where I met Annette at Home Depot Canada. And after back and forth, finally agreed to join Home Depot Canada. And then had an amazing run at Home Depot. Opened 16 stores in Quebec, I think 6 or 8 in the Maritimes, 30 in Ontario. I was in charge of all operations, so I had full P&L responsibility for all of Eastern Canada. And there I got to see what massive companies can do, because, you lose the scope of, if you spent $1,000 on buy 3 desks and for $1,000, while at Home Depot, if you changed it in all the stores, that was $4 million. Because the numbers were just astronomical. So, and great teaching tools. And there they had amazing programs. I was under the Bob Nardelli reign at the Home Depot. And so it was performance. So you were just as good as yesterday's performance, but if you performed, you were rewarded. And it was known in the company because they did certain things to let the people know that you were a top performer. And therefore, people would want to gravitate around you. You were the talent and stuff. So it was fun. Great and continually filmed.
But you did tell me that was a hard 5 years, I think you told me.
Oh, yeah, 5 years.
You told me a story where vacations didn't exist.
Oh, no, vacation. I don't know what. There again, Rita is, God bless her. I don't know how many holidays we canceled. Because the story canceled that. Something came up. Got to do this.
I think you had told me once you were in Jamaica.
Yeah, in Jamaica, and they got called in. Had to go leave Jamaica, leave Rita in Jamaica, fly back.
They sent the jet
to Atlanta, and then come back. So yeah, I mean, it's fun because you get to see all sorts of different things. On the flip side, when they threw a party, man, did they throw a party. So on the 25th anniversary, on the 20th, the band was the Eagles. On the 25th, it was Aerosmith. So, so when they threw a party, they threw a party. Well, and listen, we had, at the time when I left, 389,000 employees. Home Depot was the fastest growing company to hit 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, and $80 billion worth of sales, faster than Walmart, faster than all of them. So it was an incredible company. So, and then left that, and step number 2 at retirement, and second time Rita saying, you should go back to work. And then I joined Broccolini one day a week and was there for 16 great years.
Incredible.
That's where I met, what's his name?
And I got to say that, I had the opportunity to work on the other side of the fence from when you were at Broccolini in my previous life, and it was intimidating sometimes. Going into a boardroom to see a client and
Sorry, Mike,
yourself.
I had that effect on you.
Well, it's funny you say that, and it is true, because it's not only Sam coming out of a boardroom, it's his mentor, it's a person who had this track record. And I got to say, hats off to you and what you've done in your time at Broccolini and before that.
So I have a funny story. So Roger just mentioned that he used to come in one day a week at the beginning. I think it was like as a consultant or something. And I remember this very clearly. It was every Wednesday we would have our weekly real estate meetings. And it was basically 4 hours of just getting ripped. Like we would just get, like nothing good we did ever mattered. It was just all bad. But I remember this was like when I just started. My wife, Sophie, had just given birth. My son would not sleep. I remember coming to the office. My eyes were like bloodshot. I sit down. He comes in. I think I knew him maybe a month at this point. He looks at me. He's like, what the hell happened to you? Don't say a fucking word today. And he just kept me there. I was like, okay, all right.
Roger, switching topics slightly, if we get into leadership and mentorship, you just earlier mentioned Louise Wendling. Mm-hmm. How important is mentorship in the real estate industry, and how have you paid that forward?
I think mentorship is important regardless of the industry. If you're fortunate enough to have a career, get to a certain age, it's your responsibility to pass on. But even throughout your career, it's your responsibility to train the people that are behind you, act as a sort of this is a strange term, encyclopedia, but it's like you have to be there to be able to help. It's your responsibility to, as I always used to say, if I learned by putting my hand on the hot burner, I'm going to try to do everything I can to avoid you getting scarred. Doesn't mean I don't want you to put your hand on the burner, because sometimes you have to put your hand on the burner to learn. But I will do my best to make sure you don't scar. So it'll just be a nick, and then you'll learn. So it's really that. It's really to pass the way, try to show ways, take the time to explain, but give the people a chance to develop their own personality, their own way of doing things, and it's changed.
What would you say are some of the characters that are essential for an effective leader?
Effective leader, to me, hold your people accountable. Fix objectives that are clear, measurable, not something that is wishy-washy that you can't measure. Something that is measurable. Hold your people accountable to it. Give them the tools to be able to succeed. If they don't, take the time to try and correct. Lead by example. If there's a mistake that is made, it's, as team leader, it's your mistake. In the walls of a closed office, then you can perhaps have a talk with the employee to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But the successes are your team's, the mistakes are the responsibility of the team leader. And then your team will...
That's powerful, yeah.
But your team will rally behind you. And listen, you're nobody if you don't have a team. I don't care. Nobody possesses all the truth. You need your team. So give your team a chance to express itself. I used to tell my team at Home Depot, I used to say, I never operated a store in my life, and I was given the responsibility to operate 100 of the big box stores, 24,000 employees. And I used to tell my team, when we are in a conference room, you have the right to tell me I'm a stupid idiot, I don't understand. That's fine. I'll take the criticism and stuff. But I said, then we'll decide. And I said, once we've decided, we're one unit. If somebody decides to go against the decision, it means you don't want to be part of the unit, and I will make life very easy for you because you will be gone. It's as simple as that. We will sync together, we will succeed together, and the teams will rally. And the best advice you can get is usually from your team members. But if you don't give them the right to express themselves, if you make them afraid that if they make a mistake, you're going to dump all over them, then they'll never grow, you'll never grow.
So I have two stories from our time working together. Two things that stuck out in my mind. One is, how you mentored me. And this is actually something that I passed down to all of our team. And it stuck with me. It actually gave me the confidence to like spread my wings and go. I'll never forget. It was, you told me, Sam, if you're ever somewhere and you need to make a decision, make the decision. If it's the wrong decision, I'll back you. But do not answer if you don't know the answer. If you think you do, answer. And I remember you telling me, but only make that mistake once. Don't make it. And a second one. Now, this one infuriated me. To this day, it infuriates me. So I have, as you are well aware, I have a fear of public speaking. Like, it doesn't matter if there's 4 people, 8 people, 1,000 people. So every time I speak in public, whether it be to meet a client, everything is rehearsed. I even rehearse my jokes. Funny enough, I write everything down.
Doesn't show it.
Not anymore, I got to tell you, because he's great at public speaking. So if he's nervous, it doesn't show.
But so horrible. And you knew this. And I remember we were about to present a big pitch. And the night before, as the leader, I remember setting up a call. I started with you. I was going to do the intro, and then you were going to come in, and we had our lawyers, our architects. And so we are coordinating and, running the presentation the night before. So I start off, I say everything I have to say. We all agree. Close. The next morning, we get to the clients, start off right when I'm going to get up. Roger goes, 1 second, Sam. Hello, everyone, as president, blah, blah, blah. And basically says everything that I was going to say. And then goes, Sam. I was just there. It was not a fun day for me.
But the lesson there is you cannot choreograph everything. You have to be able to adapt. It's not easy. At times it's really, really not easy, but you've got to be able to pivot. So if you're not put in a situation where you go, what the hell, everything was planned and now I got to pivot, but done in a way that it's not going to put you in an embarrassment. It's not going to put you in a place where you're really, but you and then to see how does the person react, And I remember because he came back at the office, he was livid. And I was laughing, but yeah, and you mentioned it before because I've seen him evolve over time. So yes, indeed, much more comfortable now, much more comfortable speaking than what he was before. He would literally be almost sick the night before. I remember that clearly. And then I would do a lot of shit. I mean, it's some,
In hindsight.
Oh, yeah, in hindsight,
In hindsight, you were doing it to better him.
Oh, yeah,
I have the opportunity now. It's 5 years working together. I mean, I can see a bit of Roger and Sam. I mean, just everything he does and the way it's been done. It's not 10 years of experience. It's a wealth more, and I will thank you to you for that. But on that note, can you share a success story of someone that you've mentored and how it's impacted both your careers?
Yeah, sure. I mean, here I'll do bookends. He was my first one. I'll do it from a real estate point of view. Let's say from the Broccoli. So we worked together 11 years together. I got to see him evolve over time. I got to see him. He was mentioning before, read the documents and read the goddamn documents. And I would test him. I literally would test him and read the documents and stuff, and then start making the deals. And then sometimes telling him, take your time. Relax, take a deep breath. You don't have to, take your time, gauge your crowd, listen to your crowd, see what it is. And then saw him evolve, saw him leave, saw him start Rosefellow, saw him where you guys are today. I mean, to me, I'd like to believe that part of that success is I contributed part to that success. But to me, the bigger success is that through it all, I saw him grow with Soph, with the boys, the family unit, because the families, Rita and Soph get along very well. Rita will often say that she's giving Soph all the bad habits about what she should do. And
so all the bad habits that you think about my wife are not derived from my wife, just so we can be clear on that. But
it's been fun to see the boys grow. way early in our career, people know that I love motorcycles. It's written in the back here for people that don't see the back of my sweater. But came back with a black Harley jacket for
I still have it.
You still have it?
This big.
Yeah, for one of his sons. I said, here. I said, one day he'll ride the bike. But that part of it. So for me, my success and the positive impact is to see that combination of family and business, and how you can manage both. And you were talking about Rita and I and having fun. I often see Sam and Saf also doing stuff, and I go, this is fun. Because to me, that's important. I see myself like 20 years ago. So it's fun to see. And so wish him the best of luck and stuff. On the bookend part, if I look at the last one, my last mentees at Broccolini, is Rochelle, a girl that most people don't know of, was working in, as far as I'm concerned, the wrong department, brought her into the real estate department, so I made her cross onto the dark side. The dark side, come onto the real estate, and she's now just joined Crew M as part of its board members. She's one of the finalists at the Shooting Stars of Crew. And so I've seen her grow, and all the challenges that are even further complicated by being a woman in a fundamentally a real estate still dominated environment. So how to get the respect, how to jump out, how to get out of your comfort zone. I don't know how many times put her out of her comfort zone and stuff while we were doing mentoring. And to me, mentoring is important because it's not just a question of, I'm a mentor-mentee relationship. It's, you have homework to do. This is the things I want you to do. The next one, take the time. And so it's nice to see that she's growing in her career and she's got like a bandwidth ahead of her. So looking at bookends of where, first and the last, and things still work the same way. It's the, challenges, no comfort, get them out of the comfort zone and measure their successes. But to me, very important, non-business success.
What's nice to hear about that, sorry to cut you off, Sam, is the fact that you value the fact of giving back. You value mentoring and taking that knowledge that you've gained over time and passing it to the next.
So let's change it up a little bit. You've been involved in some incredible files. Tell us your 3 favorite, or the 3 that you're most proud of.
Oh, shit. The Reno Depot file that we talked about earlier on was one of the ones that I had the most fun in, because it was honestly one of the most complicated files that I've worked on. Restrictive covenants, exclusivity clauses, get out of a lease, a landlord that was technically bankrupt, financial institutions that were trying to protect their own backyard, having to put it all together, having the landlord to pay us as a tenant to pay for the construction of a 130,000 square foot warehouse where he had no money, and the banks didn't want to fund the money, and how are we going to settle all of that? So I used to sit with our lawyers every night, and I kid you not, every night at the end, and I'd sit down and I'd remap, what did we do today? Did we get to where we wanted to go? Where did I slip? What do I have to get back? And next day, okay, what's our objectives? What's in it for me? What's in it for them? And try to work it. The beauty of it is that at the end of the rainbow, notwithstanding everything, Reno Depot got all its money back because we had to fund the money and then get our money back. But we got all the money back. It was the highest volume Reno Depot store for the longest period of time. It's what permitted the launch of the concept, because had you not succeeded on your first one, concept takes pretty well to dive. And it became the benchmark. So it's one that I'm still proud to this day, because that was one where people said, you're going to break your neck. You're not going to be able to do. I remember ordering the steel deck for that store with no agreement in place, not finalized, and telling Rita, well, we may have a most incredible gallery. And telling the chairman that, listen, we have to do this and stuff. So that was definitely one. At Broccolini, if I look at the whole area of 628, 700, and 800 Saint-Jacques, where the National Bank building is, where Victoria on the Park is, where 628 Saint-Jacques is. That was incredible. At the time was the highest paid land transaction in Montreal.
It was the first
100 million. The first $100 million transaction for land.
I think everybody wishes they could pay that today.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, probably, yeah, definitely. But there again was one where people told me you won't be able to put it together. The city won't work. And it's never losing sight of the big picture. You know, you'll get obstacles, and sometimes they'll really throw you off your game. But you can't get thrown off your game. You got to stay on your game, stay focused, have a plan, stay true to your plan. And if I look at it today, I'm proud to say that those 3 projects changed the landscape of downtown Montreal. So when you're coming in from the South Shore, you see these buildings and you go, so, well, not too long ago, actually, I was driving with Bridget, our daughter, and I said, look, daddy, But it's fun. I mean, they're probably, if I look at bookends, those, and then in Saint Jerome, doing the Costco store, in a place where there was no exit on the highway, got the exit, the overpass paid. I think it's the last overpass that got done where it's not the promoter that had to pay it fully, and then I remember 2 things. One. 2 environmental things. Not today would not be too friendly.
Different times.
I get a call. Actually, I don't get a call. I'm listening to the radio on a Saturday morning, and they're saying the traffic is blocked on the 15, the auto route going to the Laurentian auto route, going up north. The traffic is blocked because there's a cloud of smoke that's making so that the people cannot see when they're driving on the auto route. So our contractor was burning the trees on the site.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that was not a good one. But on the flip side, we had to feed a stream that had goldfish that were put in by a professor. And then now we had to protect those goldfish. So we had to divert water to make sure that the yin and the yang.
Yeah. So there's 2 takeaways that I get from that. I mean, the first one is call it the daily postmortem.
Yep.
You were talking about
absolutely.
that sit down. I think that's something, and it's funny you said that because it resonates with what Sam has been integrating into our own company. With every DD project that we've done, some we've passed on. Sam has taken initiative. Say no, we're going to sit down and we're going to see what we did right, what we did wrong. How do we do better for the next one? So I can see that reflection in him. And the second one, I mean, I won't talk about goldfish, obviously, but just about kind of that foresight. You talked about all those projects you did downtown. People thought you were crazy spending the price that you did, or convincing your board to say, guys, we're going to spend this and we're going to make it work. But it had to do with foresight. Sam, I think of when we started our company, people thought we were not paying the industrial prices we did, but we we were betting on the future.
And again, I think a lot of those prices we wish we could pay today.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, the one thing is, I've learned, learn from looking in the rearview mirror, but don't spend your day looking at the rearview mirror. Look at the look at the windshield. You're driving, look at the windshield, but learn from what you did in the past.
Another talent you have that I've tried to take away is if there's a problem, don't stick your head in the sand. And Roger would always use this analogy. I don't know if it's proper to say it on camera, but I will. Basically, if you stick your head in the sand, what's sticking up in the air? Your ass. And what happens? So and every time there was a problem, it was not just like hide it. Don't try to cover it. Just deal with it. Whether it be a mistake, a big problem. And I can tell you that is something that we have actually done. No file. Even from when we started or even today, no file is without complications. But what we've been able to do is we always talk to our partners, say this and this. And if you talk to your partners, they understand. They're people, they've been there. They don't get mad. It's okay. How do we solve this? How does it affect us? How do we make it better? Can we make it better?
I think I've told you this a few times, Sam. We're fortunate where we work in an area or in a sector of activity. Our lives don't depend on what we do. If we make a mistake, nobody's going to die. So if you make a mistake, live up to it, try to correct it, but don't hide from it. Nobody wants to be blindsided. Nobody wants to be surprised. So just live with it, discuss it, be transparent. Now, try to learn, as you said. If you do the same mistake twice, you're showing me that you have a tendency of wanting to really have my attention, and if you make the same mistake a third time, then obviously you had a bad career choice. So we will help and take the pressure away. But so it's really that. It's don't hide. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm 70 years old today, and I make mistakes. So don't hide. Learn. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to call people. Like I still to this day pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what do you think? How do you see it? Did you see something?" And make your own opinion, but don't be afraid to talk to people.
If we take a left turn and we talk a little bit about real estate development, what do you see as the biggest challenges and opportunities today in industrial real estate development?
I guess a few things. The real estate development is not isolated. I mean, it lives in an environment. So if you look at the environment around real estate development, if you look at industrial in particular, we have in Quebec, right now I think everybody's living the fact that notwithstanding we're the biggest hydroelectric producer province in Canada, you can't get electricity on your projects. So resources. A lot of times infrastructure. The infrastructure is not there. So now you got to find a way of funding the infrastructure. The cities are strapped for cash. So there's there. If the piece of land is available today, it's because there's something wrong with the piece of land. It's polluted.
Well said.
Capacity is not
Soil
there.
bearing is...
Exactly. There's something wrong with
10, 15 years ago, CMCs or piles weren't the thing. And all of a sudden, every site requires them.
It's because if it's still there, there's a problem. I mean, there's a reason why it's there. And obviously, much more stringent environmental laws and the cities using tools, the RCIs, the famous Règlement de contrôle intérimaire, to do things. And it's like it throws the game off. Push it somewhere else. You want to do an industrial development. It needs manpower. Where are we from this availability of manpower? Housing shortage. So the housing shortages has impacts because you're going to build somewhere if the homes aren't there. Look at what's happening. Hopefully Northvolt will make it all the way through. But look at one of the biggest concerns. Where are you going to put the people? Where are you going to house the people? The houses are not there. So it's got to be looked at in a massive. And then always full circle back to political science, all the politics involved. So at one time, industrial development was viewed as being, it's great, it shows the dynamic nature of the municipality, and it's got an industrial base and stuff. Now, partly due because technology, less job creation, looking at massive use of land, not necessarily the most efficient use of land because you need parking facilities, storage facilities, docking facilities. So the municipalities are looking at it now from a tax bill point of view and are saying, I'm not so sure. So you have to deal with that also. It's a continual and changing environment, not obviously invulnerable to what's going on with the economics. So interest rates, unemployment, aging population. So you see the industrial base adjusting itself.
Do you see a big, you've developed everywhere. Do you see benefits? Quebec, Ontario, the States. If you had to pick today, if today you're coming out of retirement for a third time and someone would tell you, here you go, here's a blank check for $100 million, go develop real estate, where would you develop today?
Not doing much with $100 million.
Yeah.
Not today, unfortunately.
I was going to say, boy, I'm going to build a house. No, but where would I go today? I think there's opportunities everywhere. So you have to just decide where you best match your own resources with what's available out there. So Quebec, listen, I was born, raised, and will die in Quebec. So to me, Quebec is still a great land of opportunity. It has its challenges, but it's still a great land of opportunity. The government has tools. They're very active. La Caisse, Investissement Québec. So there's always an opening. In the States, I'll go flip and then I'll go to Ontario in the middle. In the States, you'll have obviously a much more let the market rule type of approach. rules are somewhat different. Municipalities, regions, states are much more inclined to give all sorts of tax incentives to bring companies in and stuff than necessarily they are here in Canada. Different regime. I mean, they will do it, but different regime. But there's their own sets of rules in the United States. So you have to understand how it works. Construction is done in different ways. And then you go to Ontario. Well, there you have Premier right now, Premier Ford, that is obviously has a strong bias towards development. So you can see the Toronto marketplace, how it just expands, continually expands. So that's they are very proactive, but they have rules and regulations that when you look at it, sometimes take you longer to develop in Ontario than it does to do in Quebec. Notwithstanding that you read in the press and all sorts of problems that we have here in Quebec.
I don't find it that long here, generally. There's some cities that are a bit more difficult, but on the whole, it's not that incredibly difficult.
No, I mean, well, again, understand the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Understand who you're dealing with. They each have...
Pick up the phone. Speak
talk.
to you.
Oh, yeah.
Talk.
You want to drive me nuts? Tell me I'm writing. I mean, it's like, fuck, you know.
Emails. No. Pick up the phone. Go see the person.
Go see the person. Talk to the person.
You're very much like that, too.
You know, first of all, it's so easy to tell you no if I write. It's a lot harder to tell you no if you're in front of me and I'm in front of you, and then we can talk. I can react. I can see what it is. And learn what you know. One of my first mentors always told me, he used to use the acronym WIFM. It died with me. What's in it for me, and then what's in it for you. Take the time. Put down on a piece of paper, what do you think are the 7, 5, 10, whatever you want, most important points for them and for you, and then keep it in mind. And as you're dealing, then you can start. You know, certain things sometimes that we deem are not important at all are the most important for that person. So deal with those issues, and then it's a maze, and then be true to your word.
That's a great takeaway. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Try.
Good luck, dude.
You said, good luck. Well, no, you know what? Here's a good one. You said you can't quit completely. What projects or passions are you pursuing in retirement?
Well, again, business-wise and then personal-wise. Personal-wise, everybody knows my passion for motorcycles. That will never. I will die. You know, I've always said.
And you even have an electric motorcycle, from what I understand.
I spent about 4 days worth of hours at Harley Davidson with Roger, so I can attest.
Yeah, I do. I had the first one delivered in Quebec. I have number 100 of the first 500 that were built by Harley Davidson. I have the chairman's certificate and stuff for the electric bike. So the motorcycles, the passion for the motorcycle, passion for my family.
I'm going to stop you right there. Does your wife ride with you?
My wife used to ride by herself. She used to have her own motorcycles. Many years ago, at Valentine's Day, my gift to Rita was a red Harley Davidson.
There's a picture.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be in your office of
her
riding.
That's right. So we used to ride together, and I mean, to Rita's credit, I mean, we rode through the most horrendous storms and stuff, and Rita would just ride. Luck would have it, circumstances would have it that she got into a car crash, which made it a little bit more difficult to ride. Not so much because it's just that if she hits a bump, she freezes. So I said, on a motorcycle, forget it. So that's when I got the big cruisers and had Rita. And I mean, last year we did 18,000 kilometers in the summer with Rita on the back of the bike. So passion for the motorcycles, definitely. Business wise, I still have to be involved. That this personally. Just to stay in tune with what's happening. So I've just been named on the permanent committee that the city has put together to monitor housing and all of what's happening in housing and stuff. I co-chaired the Montreal Affordability Committee, so I'm staying involved on that piece. I sit on some boards, advisory boards, and then most important of all of this is to spend as much time as I can with Rita and just having fun. So trying to find the whole balance in all of that makes it so that I'm probably more occupied now than I was when I was working, because it just keeps you busy.
That's amazing. Yep. Roger, I'd love to ask you 4 hours more worth of questions, but I think we'll keep it short.
You have a makakeup artist.
Yeah. I got dressed up for Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I think maybe we'll just plug them away with some 20 or 30-second answers. What's a piece of advice? What's the best piece of advice you've ever received that you can pass forward?
Best piece of advice, simple. Stay true to yourself.
I like that.
Yep.
What's a piece of advice you'd give to Roger Plamondon at the age of 20? If you can go back in time, what would you tell him today?
Make sure you meet Rita again.
Oh, that's sweet. So, a lot of the audience that we do have are people who are intrigued by real estate. What's a piece of advice you give to someone who's considering getting into real estate?
I think I mentioned it before, but to me, your reputation will follow you throughout your career. So be honest, be true, under-promise, over-deliver, and be transparent. If you use those principles, you'll succeed, no matter what.
If you were to summarize your career in one word, what would that be?
Can I hyphenate?
Go right ahead.
Actually, I'll try to make. I was about to say, but try to keep the language. It's been just an amazing ride. It has really been an amazing ride. Great people, great relationships, fun projects, great family. The one thing that whenever someone says Roger Plamondon and they talk about you in a room, the respect that people have for you. I think that's what I thrive for. That one day I can step away from whatever it is, or when I pass, that people can have that same respect for me that they have for you. It's incredible to hear people in an audience talk about you. From
Competitors. That's the rare thing. Generally, competitors do not speak highly of other competitors. You're one of the only people I've ever met that in our industry, even competitors speak highly of you, it's a testament. It's not easy to be able to go through that.
It means you did it right.
That respect. You've done right.
You've done right. Exactly. You did it the right way. You were not dishonest in the way you did it, and that for me is something that I admire of you, Roger.
Well, you can listen. I come back to it. Be true to yourself. Treat people with respect. They should normally respect you back. I can control what I can control. I cannot control what I cannot control. So if I believe I'm the best at doing something, well, I'll show you I'm the best at doing something. Not I'll tell you I'm the best at, I'll do it. And then you see, and I'd like to believe I can be a fierce competitor, but I can be a good friend. And even though we're competitors, it doesn't mean that, we can't talk to each other. It doesn't mean that I can't entertain a relationship because you're a competitor. Absolutely not. First of all, most of the times you'll be astonished to discover that with your competitor, there's so many things you have in common because you live in the same environment, you have the same challenges, you have the same pressure on your family, your business is going through the same cycle. So why can you not talk to somebody? I mean, obviously protect your turf. That's fair.
All is fair in love and war. But
absolutely. If I'm competing against you, we could be best of friends. But if I'm competing against you, I will do everything I can to bury you. It is as simple as that. But in the meantime, why can we not?
And I think, that's probably one of the lessons you taught Sam, and it's probably one of the lessons that you taught him that made us become who we are today as partners and friends. Because Sam and I hated each other as competitors. And again, we were young. We were immature. We lose a deal, and I hate the guy because he won. But then all of a sudden, one day, I won I can't remember which project. We ended up getting the phone call from the client saying, "You got the project, Mike. Congratulations." I got a text from Sam about 5 minutes later saying, "Hey, I got a call. I didn't get the project. I just want to say congratulations. Hats off to you." And that's when our relationship changed. And it changed to the point where then we started talking as friends. Our wives got together, our kids got together, and we hung out and we became best friends. And, not long thereafter.
Exactly like you're saying, we had a lot of the same problems I had were the same problems Mike had.
Of course.
And
actually, sometimes, because you'll spend more time at work most of the times than you spend with your family, you'll find out that, indeed, most of the commonality it stems in your work environment. So you'll feel the same problems. You have the same problems with the cities, banks and stuff. So just develop a respect and be, doesn't mean I'm going to tell you how to put the caramel in the caramel that I've discovered back. No.
Yep.
But we can exchange. We
Yeah.
can certainly exchange. Respect people. That's the bottom line. And so thank you for it.
Thank you.
Roger. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It was fun.
I was really excited when you sent us back a message saying you'd be willing to do this with us. So thank you so much. Thank you for everything you taught Sam, because he is an incredible partner, an incredible friend, and I know a lot of it stems from the 11 years of mentorship that you provided him. So thank you for that. We encourage all of our listeners to subscribe. Share the episode and follow Rosefellow. So thank you again, Roger, for being with us.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
Sam. And any last takeaways, Sam? You have your 11-year mentor in front of you here. Anything you want to say?
And now's your time. Now's your time.
Thank you. You know what? You taught me to keep family first. You've made it very clear that you believe in your team. I also remember an analogy that you had told me, which is if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Get rid of that room. And I think we've built our team to that. We've built our team based on those principles. We built a team that we're not better than any singular one of them at anything. They are better than us at every single level. It's just putting all the people together and believing in your team. Me personally, thank you for always being there. I mean, we've had our ups and our downs. I mentioned before that little snafu that you put me through hurt me very much. But no, we've actually been friends even since we stopped working together. Thank you. You've been a great role model, truthfully, and you really are my mentor. So thank you very much.
My pleasure, my friend.
Thank you all for listening to Rosefellow's podcast, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.